Sporkle.com once stated, Africa is home to some of the most amazing scenery and natural beauty on the planet. It is the continent where modern humans originated and has been home to some of history's great empires. However, despite all Africa has to offer, for centuries it has carried a reputation as a poor, backward, dangerous place, and perhaps nothing exemplifies this more than its outdated nickname, the Dark Continent. Over the years, people have given lots of reasons why Africa was called the Dark Continent. Many people think it is a racist phrase but can't say why. The common belief that the phrase just referred to Europe's lack of knowledge about Africa makes it seem outdated but otherwise benign. So if you're still thinking or having this notion that Africa is called the Dark Continent simply because of the original complexion of the inhabitants, race does lie at the heart of this myth, but it's not about skin color. The myth of the Dark Continent referred to the savagery that Europeans said was endemic to Africa, and even the idea that its lands were unknown came from erasing centuries of pre-colonial history, contact, and travel across Africa. And to answer the question, why Africa called the Dark Continent? It is because most people know very little about it. It has a lot of mysteries and is the land of unexplored. Again, but why do people know very little about Africa? Africa is a land of lush with sunshine and vivid light. It is the last of the continents to feel the influence of Western civilization. Therefore, many people consider it a backward continent. Is it fair that because Africa was one of the last to feel the effects of Western civilization, it is considered as a backward continent? According to Johansson Smersed's comment in Quora, we do all know that Africa is the second largest continent after Asia. Africa covers an area as large as the United States, Western Europe, India, and China put together. It has 1/5 of the entire land of surface of the globe. It is an unbelievably rich continent. It contains 98% of the diamond mines of the world and 55% of the gold mines. It produces 2/3 of the world's cocoa and 3/5 of the world's supply of palm oil. It has immense reserves of water supply. The animals alone in Africa make the continent extremely interesting and unique among all continents. Nowhere else in the world are they found in such variety and abundance. There is also no other place where man can see them in their natural habitat and not in zoo. The Africans have always lived very close to wild, savage animals. The people fear them, eat them, and worship them. Animals play a dominant role in African mythology and folk stories. At national parks, you can see wild animals in their natural habitats without risk of being harmed. The national parks are zoos in reverse. At a zoo, animals are caged and the men are free to walk around. At the African national parks, wild animals roam around freely without wires or cages, and people have to remain safely enclosed in cars or trucks. The animals can approach the cars, but as long as the people remain inside, no animal will attack a car or any vehicle.
Did you see that little bird just fly past?
The national park outside Nairobi is famous for the fact that it is only 5 miles outside the city. It is easily accessible by taxi, and the ride takes only 15 minutes. The park contains about 14,000 wild animals in Africa. In recent years, primitive African art has been copied and imitated by Western nations. Government museums and private collectors have competed in acquiring primitive African ceremonial masks. Wooden figures with distorted limbs have aroused wonder and admiration. African intricate carvings have been fantastically praised. African art is closely associated with religion. It is very primitive in nature and is closely associated with superstitions. Masks are terrifying because they are intended to frighten away evil spirits. Contemporary dance music is based on African music with its short rhythm based largely on the drum beat. African music is bound up with religious ceremony, composed as a prayer for rain and for success in hunting and in war. The drum being the force in African music comes in different types. Drum may be entirely wood, hollowed, and slit. They may be made of wood and hide. Elephant ears are specially valued for this purpose. It is believed that the invention of the drum was related to the ritual of driving the spirits of the dead away. African drums are so constructed that the sound travels over a long distance, more than 8 or 9 miles. Relays of drummers can easily send messages with astonishing speed over very long distances. A drum message can be sent 100 miles away in 2 hours. In some parts of tropical Africa, drums never stop beating. They drive foreigners mildly crazy. Literature that has been written for or by African people is called African literature. Their literature, often oral in nature, may be in prose or in poetry. Storytellers in African often tell stories using the call and response technique. This is because an African storyteller would expect his or her audience to give responses or comments. Poetry is often sung or recited in a sing-song voice. Poetry types include the narrative epic, occupational verse, ritual verse, and praise poem for rulers or other prominent people. The praise singers, bards sometimes known as griots, tell their stories with a musical background. Also recited but most often sung are love songs, work songs, children's songs, epigrams, and riddles.